Tonight we have on deck a devoted mother, licensed vocational nurse, aspiring mindset coach, and recovered alcoholic. After hitting rock bottom and going through rehab twice, she rebuilt her life from the ground up with emotional healing, spiritual alignment, and mental resilience. Her journey is living proof that your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Welcome, Candace. Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
thank you.
I'm excited to have you on board. I'm going to let you take the floor, but before doing so, I would just like to say that I am too, and I know that you are, and I know the listeners are excited. And I think we have a little delay, so if y'all don't mind, it's kind of overlooked. I can hear a little lag here and there, but it's okay. We're going to get the message out, okay? How about that? Okay, so what I wanted to say to you, Candace, is, I spoke with you previously. I really enjoyed the conversation. What really, really jumps out at me the most about what you're aspiring to do is the mindset coaching thing. You didn't leave out the intricate parts. You didn't leave out the spiritual intelligence, the spiritual alignment, the emotional part of it. You could have just attacked it with just the mindset, but you realize that you can't attack it with just the mindset. Because the mind is all. Let's say it like that. So it's all sorts of moving parts. We're interconnected beings, and in order to achieve any goal, we've got to remember not to abstract a part of who we are, but to remember that everything works together. It moves together. It's like a dance. Everything has to be in harmony. An overcoming mindset has to be intact or in sync, in tune with the spiritual essence of who you are. You can't just shift the mindset just like that. It goes deeper than what's on the surface. So anyways, that's what in your conversation, I grabbed that. I caught that you really get it. And I really believe that why you've been successful in your overcoming processes is because you get that you can't disconnect, can't leave out the spiritual part of who you are, the emotional part, the physical part. So from what I've gathered is that you're attending and giving attention to all parts. And I really, truly believe that's why you're successful. So I just had to say that little tidbit right there. That really, really blesses me because it's very seldom you hear someone include all of the moving parts, Now, I'm going to let you get started and share with us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and, we'll just let it flow from there.
So I have to immediately go into this because you set up the stage perfectly for me. I've been writing. I felt like a call to use my voice, and I'll get into that a little more. But I've been working on something, and it's actually like the framework of how I've maintained my sobriety. And that, what you said, is my framework. That's the whole part of it. It's holistic healing. I love AA. I think it's a fantastic program. I mean, I know it inside out from attending so many in recovery, sober living outside of there. But there was something that wasn't connecting for me. And I thought, what is that that's missing? And that's what it was. It was that spiritual connection. I needed that healing in my identity, my self-worth. I needed that spiritual healing. I needed all of those things to work in harmony together in order to maintain my sobriety, because it's bigger than just not taking a drink. It's bigger than restriction. It's reconnection. Because that's what addiction does, right? It takes us away from who we are. We disconnect from our purpose, from our true selves. Yes. It puts a what's the word I'm looking for? it puts like I keep wanting to say
A
gully, but
wedge.
a wedge. It puts something there, but that's what
Yeah.
spirituality is. It's that.
A
It's that
disconnect.
bridge. You
Yeah.
know, it's that bridge that connects us
Yes.
to our true self. Because we need, at the end of the day, we need an anchor. We need something that's bigger than us to attach to when we're trying to accomplish something like that. Because for me,
Yes.
my identity, my self-worth, my purpose in life, everything was gone, essentially. You know, I mean, alcoholism ravaged my soul. I mean, I walked in defeated and depleted. You know, it was like
Yeah.
Anybody can, you know, like we're talking about mindset. You know, if you tell yourself enough, you know, like I can do this, you know, we can get on board with that kind of action and eventually take hold
Yeah.
of that, you know. But addiction does something to you where it takes that fight. It takes you out of the fight. You know, I was looking at not, can I do this? Because I mean, I'll be honest, I had, by this point in my life, you know, I'll have 2 years in a month. And, you know, 2 years ago, I was
Yes.
thinking, you know, like, you've fought weight, obesity. I mean, pretty much my entire childhood. I mean, my initial weight loss, I
Yeah.
was 19. I lost 150 pounds with discipline, with diet, exercise. You know, I went to college, had a child when I was 16. Nobody thought I was going to make it to college. You know, addiction seemed like that was right on track, but it didn't to me. And I'd overcome all these obstacles in my life and not just accomplished, like I dug my heels in and I did well at things that I had done. And then when I was faced with alcoholism, I couldn't get up. And
Yes.
I didn't know how to process that. I didn't know how or what to do with having to go to someone and say, I need help because this is bigger than me and I can't do it. And
Right.
a lot of people, I'll pray for you. And, you know, and my favorite, just don't drink. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish I would have
Just
thought about
don't
that.
do it.
I could have gotten better a long time ago. You know, that's easy. Sure. Okay.
Well, yeah, if it's that easy, huh?
But, you know,
Oh my goodness.
I feel like that feeling is something that maybe, I mean, of course, people battle those kind of mental blocks all the time, but you really have to understand addiction. You have to have been in those trenches to understand that feeling. And I come from a family where we had been familiar with addiction, and I never in my life thought that it would be something that would overtake me. And here's the thing about alcohol. I chose alcohol because it was easy. It's available. It's not illegal. I'm not going to get in trouble for doing it. I'm of the appropriate age, you know, and everybody does it. You can get it at the movies. You can get it at your child's baseball game, basketball game, wherever. It's a completely acceptable thing, and it's completely detrimental to your health. And it takes hold fast. Not everybody, but I've always heard that addiction starts and you know you're an addict from the first time you take a drink. And I always say you live life forward and understand it backwards. And when I sit and reflect on my life, I know that that's a fact. I know that one was never enough. You know, it had to be, well, if one shot's good, then 10 has to be excellent. It was all gas, no brakes from the beginning. But then when you start adding life, because lives, you know, and things like anxiety and depression and just pressure from everyday life and just problems from all sides, that gets a little heavier. And that drink starts looking better and better in the evening time because you feel like it's taking that stuff away from you. It's helping you, right?
Yeah.
And before you know it, you can't go a day without having that drink, you know. And for me, when I realized that I was at that point, I couldn't tell anybody that. I'm a nurse. Mm-hmm. I'm a mother. And I've accomplished all those things. I can't
Yeah.
expose
Yeah.
myself like that. I can't ask for help. I have to keep this hidden. And if I keep it hidden and I work hard enough, I can keep it under wraps and I'll get it under control. But it never happens that way. 2021,
Yeah.
I was trying. I think I maybe had made about a week. I got a phone call that my dad wasn't feeling well. Long story short, 2.5 weeks later, I lost my dad. And I'm fortunate I was there for it, but I thought that I was getting better and I spiraled. It was complete overtake at that point. And like I said, when I walked into rehab, at first I had to admit that I needed help. I woke up one day, I had drank too much the night before, and I had to go to my husband at the time and tell him I need help. I was shaking so bad, my anxiety was overwhelming. And I had this thought that, okay, how many more nights of blackout drinking and maybe not waking up do you have in you? Do you want to admit that you need help and fight and try to find some self-worth, try to reconnect to the fact that you're worthy of getting help? Or you can stay where you're at, but if you stay where you're at, this is going to kill you.
Candace, let me ask you this. When speaking of, like you said, one drink turns to 10 drinks, a lot of times people go out or, they just have a social drink or whatever. In your opinion, and I know it's not the same for everybody, but in your opinion, what would you say, and from a nurse perspective, what would you say would be, might be the greatest contributing factor as far as drinking in excessiveness? Like, would it be trauma, or would you say just trying to fit in, just a whole party thing, wanting to be cool, and then you don't realize you have that gene or whatever? I don't know. I don't know. I've never I don't really know how to term it. Let me just say it like this. What would you say would be the greatest determining factor to alcoholism? Now we broke. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I honestly, obviously genetics, things like that are, play a huge part in that. But I think it's a combination of all of those things, right? If you have social anxiety, right, and you're going out and people are drinking, and maybe you're not a big drinker, maybe you haven't been a big drinker because it runs in your family, but all of those things align, and you drink, and then, like I said, I truly believe from the first drink if you're going to be one of those people, but I think for me that it was a combination of all of those things. I had no self-esteem as a child, and, growing up. Social anxiety was very real to me. And
Yeah.
I've always been a talker. I've always known that I'm going to use my voice. I thought it was singing, but something about that liquid courage, it made it a whole lot easier. And then when people would tell you, like, oh, I had such a good time and you're so funny and you're this and that, it makes that next drink the next time look even better. And it's like, again, oh, if I had one and I was cool, maybe 10 would be like, I'm the coolest person in the room, which sounds so cheesy, but it's true. And that happens for adults. That's not just, younger kids drinking or, it's any age. It truly affects anybody at any age. And like I said, I think it's a combination of all of those things. And do you know what I find interesting? Right. I was just having this conversation with someone. You can stop doing meth And people are like, that's incredible. You know, you can quit smoking cigarettes, and, you know, it's like, oh, that's great. That's such a bad habit. You know, this, that. You quit drinking and people are like, why? Like, why do you not drink? What happened? You know, I'm like, and alcohol, as far as detoxing, is so dangerous. I mean, it's right under heroin, and heroin tops the list. You know, that was a frightening thing for me too. That's why one of the reasons I chose to go to rehab was because that was terrifying to me. The thought of having seizures, and I already didn't sleep. When I tried to fight it off myself, they say alcoholics don't sleep, and it's true. I would lay in bed and stare at the ceiling fan and count the blades, you know, like going around from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And I would fight it for a few days. And then I'd get this feeling like my anxiety was overwhelming. I had shakes. I would get chills and sweats, and all this stuff was going on. And my mind was going, one drink, just one, not even the entire drink, like a sip, and all of this stops. And it does. And you know that. And so when you are fighting addiction, I can remember vividly wanting to not drink anymore and getting my purse, crying, getting in my car, crying, driving to the store, crying, checking out with my wine, crying, driving home, getting home, opening, crying the entire time, because I knew I didn't want this to be my life. I truly believe that we all have a divine calling on us. And I felt that even then. And I thought, if I can ever get free from this, I will step into that, whatever it is. But if I don't, it's going to kill me. And I knew that. And despite knowing that, I would get up the next day and drink again the next evening, because it has that much of a hold. And when it becomes to the physical part, when you are physically addicted, it is truly miserable. When I asked to go to rehab, I knew at that point, like, it doesn't matter what people think about you. Your reputation doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that you heal from this, that your children see you get up from this, because they deserve the best version of you. And you are not the best version of you right now. You don't even know who you are. You've lost that. And I didn't. I had no idea who I was. And when I just felt determined at some point, it wasn't when I got there. Because when I got there, I didn't feel like I was worth fighting for. I had lost that fight in me. That fight that got me through all of my other obstacles, my trials, tribulations through life. That was gone. I had to, that part took complete surrender, you know, and I think that we do have a lot to learn, you know, when it comes to how to maintain sobriety and all these things, but you have to surrender, you know, and you have to unlearn. As much as you have to learn, you have to unlearn too. There's a structure there that has to be torn down. It has to be burned down so that you can build something new. And just like if a house burns down, you know, you have to clear out the ashes. You have to get rid of what's there. You can't build a new foundation on old things. It's like there's a verse in the Bible that talks about beauty for ashes. You have to let go of the ashes first, or you don't get the beauty. And that's what rehab started in me, was it took my ashes and it started to give me beauty. And I met so many people from so many different walks of life that spoke into mine. And I knew that I wanted to use my voice, but that confirmed it. You know, like getting to sit and talk with these beautiful people and hear their stories and their struggles and their dreams and aspirations. And, you know, it just started to flow. I was like, I knew I wanted to help people. That's why I became a nurse. You know, I love people. And there's something great, there's something truly beautiful about seeing someone that's broken start to transform, you know, and turn into this magnificent thing, you know, of strength and worth and just fire. And it's so beautiful. And I thought, that's what I want to do. Like, that's why I wanted to do my website that I have a blog on. I wanted to use all that. And I felt like by the time I finally gave into that, I sat down and I felt like I had 5 books in my head already. But I think recovery, I mean, it's hard, it's worth it, and it's beautiful. It's becoming who you were meant to be, you know, and mindset shifts, gratitude and mindset shift is the foundation for everything, in my opinion. You can build
for everything.
You can build new neural pathways in your mind, you know, and you have to, if your mind still believes that you're not worthy of something, you'll self-sabotage, right? Your healing doesn't start with behavior. Your healing starts with belief, right? You have to have that mindset shift.
Start with belief.
You have to. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot. Just a little belief. That's why I believe in the little changes that become big things in your life. They turn in to your transformation story. After my second stay in rehab, the first stint in rehab, I stayed 30 days. My second one, I was there 40, 45. And I decided to go to sober living after, because when I came home the first time, I went immediately back into my old routine, my old life. And I made it almost a year and I was drinking again. So I knew that I missed something. So I went back. And sober living was structure and discipline and tools like AA and those things that just, you need that in your life. For me, routine has been a difference maker. I thrive in a routine, but I knew, like I said, that I needed to approach this from a holistic standpoint. It wasn't enough just to not drink. I needed that healing mind, body, spirit. And so I sat down and I thought, who do I want to be? Who do I see myself as? Who is that higher self? And what does she look like? Where will you be in 5 years if you are the best version of you? And so I thought about it and I thought, well, she's healthy. You know, she takes care of herself. She carries herself well. You know, she's spiritually in tune. She has emotional health, emotional intelligence, you know, mind, body, spirit, emotionally. I knew that that would be my key to getting to that higher self. So I started thinking like, okay, we need to get back into exercise, right? Body. What else can we do? We can journal. That's getting those thoughts out, because you need to get them out. I mean, and sometimes I've done it, you know, like if I'm aggravated, I would write it out, rip it up, write it out, rip it up. I mean, I might do it more than once, but it was little things like that, like going to the gym, eating better, listening to podcasts or teachers, or reading books, things about how, you know, how to achieve holistic health and wellness. You know, I knew that I needed that. And I put myself on a schedule. I believe in waking up early. I think it's a great thing to do. And I like that quiet time before too. So I did not start off going to the gym at 4 a.m. I just started out setting my alarm for that time. That's where discipline and motivation are different. People tell me all the time, I want and I need your motivation. I was like, this is not motivation. Motivation will get you started, but it's the discipline that's going to keep you there. It's It's knowing that what you're doing is worth it.
What type of tools do you recommend to keep moving forward and keep yourself inspired and motivated,
So, I mentioned journaling. I'm a big believer in that. I think that physical activity, you don't have to go to the gym to exercise. You can exercise at home. But I think that's super important. Taking care of your body. For me, cutting out negativity in my life was huge. Limiting screen time. And your diet is more than what you eat. It's what you put in here. It's what you put here.
Yes.
All of that matters. And if you are feeding yourself negativity, positivity is not going to come out of your mouth. You can't have a negative mind and a positive life. They don't go together. There were days where I had to I'll use Joyce Meyer. I love her. She's great. I would listen to her, but I would have to have her on in the kitchen, in my car, in my bedroom, in the bathroom. I had 10 different speakers on 10 different episodes because I was having a rough day and I needed to keep that positivity pumping. And sometimes it was just 10 different people talking or music, whatever it was that was going to keep me in that positive flow. I needed to keep that. And the world is full of negativity. It takes no time to pull you from here to here. You just open up your internet browser and you're there, or social media or anything. And they're beautiful, wonderful tools that keep us all connected, but you can use them in the wrong way. And you have to be disciplined enough to recognize when that shift starts happening. And when it does, you have to be quick and be like, what? Wait, we're not going that way. We're not going to allow negativity to run our life. Like, we choose to live by truth, not by emotions.
Yes.
That's another big thing.
Yes.
For me, that's a huge thing. And recognizing your triggers and staying away from them. And like you said, this is for anybody battling anything. This is not just, about alcohol. But sometimes your environment has to change. Right. Sometimes you can't heal, or all the time, you can't heal in the same environment you got sick in. So that looks like changing the way you drive home, what convenience stores you stop at, who you talk to, who you let speak into your life. You never take advice from somebody that hasn't had any kind of experience in what you're dealing with. I typically, if I want my marriage to last, I'm not going to go to somebody that's been divorced 6 times. You have to be careful of what you take in and take hold of, because you'll let it root. There
you go.
Mindfulness is huge. Being aware of your diet. And your diet is vision, hearing, eating. It's all of it. But exercise, positivity, keeping it pumping, journaling, picking out somebody that you admire and study what they did. Look at their life. And, how did they get there? Find a few of them. I don't even know how some celebrities are celebrities now, but there's a lot of strange things going on out there. And a lot of people grab hold of that and start mirroring that, like, if you can do it with something like that, or, do it with somebody that's you want to aspire to be like, because living with excellence is the end goal, right? Reaching your calling in your life, living a life of excellence. Well, what does that mean? Living a life of excellence is living with integrity, and integrity is, who are you when no one is looking? Like, Karen, when we shut this camera off, I am the same person. You're getting the same person
when no one is
looking. Gets, that everyone gets. And I love that. I love that I'm that authentic, that I don't have to change who I am based on the person that I'm talking to. There is no putting the mask on and taking it off. I threw that away.
If there was one thing that you could share with someone who's battling any sort of addiction,
be honest with yourself. there's a lot of talk around shadow work, which I've done a lot of, because we tend to put those not so pretty parts of us away in the corner in a box, and we don't want to deal with those. But when you're battling something like addiction, you got to get that box out, and you got to open it, and you got to look at it, and you have to say, okay, I'm broken. I'm not beyond help. I'm just broken. And this, whatever is in this box, needs to be fixed. And I need someone to help me fix that. Because I can promise you, there is not a person on this planet that can't understand that. There is no perfect person. Everyone is broken. Everyone has vice somewhere. We're not all the same. But that's what makes that beautiful too. We all work together. We're all one body, right? But we're all different parts. So we all have different functions. And we all have different battles.
Yep.
So where maybe you're going through a battle, maybe I've already been through that battle, and you're in the valley, but I'm on the mountaintop. So that gives me the ability to reach down in there and be like, hey, Karen, let's go. We got this. So it's important to know that you're not alone and that you're not beyond repair. But you got to get the box out of the corner. And you have to admit that you need help. And there's a saying, they talk about it all the time, how that phone weighs 8,000 pounds. And it might. But look at who you want to be, what you're called to be, and you connect with that and put your heels in and be like, I'm reaching that goal. Like, I'm going to finish this race and I'm going to do a good job. But I've got to heal some things first. It's worth it. It is worth it. I have so much peace now. I've never had this much peace. I have never been this secure in who I am. I've never been this positive about what I'm supposed to do with my life. I wouldn't have gotten here had I not been an alcoholic. And so in this crazy way, I'm so thankful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we live life forward, we understand it backwards. And I think if we were shown the entire staircase from the beginning, instead of a single stair at a time, we'd find that part that's difficult and we'd be like, I'm not doing that. Are you kidding? Even if we thought the outcome was like greater than what we could imagine, we'd see that troubled part and we'd be like, you have to pick me something else because I'm not doing that. But the lessons I've learned, the healing that's happened in my heart, my emotion, like it's unbelievable. And even in this last 8 months of my life, I've been stretched to a point where I know things that I didn't know 8 months ago. And I have had this exciting feeling building for the past 6 months. It's with me every day. I genuinely get up excited because I know something good is going to happen. Something good is coming to me. That's another thing. Positive affirmations. Every single day when you get up. I say them every day. And that's one of them. Something good is going to happen to me today.
Yes.
It's funny. I believe that any area that you are called in, I believe we all have divine appointments where somewhere along the way we meet what we're meant to do. And I think I learned my first song when I was 5 because my mother's a singer. She sings beautifully. And so naturally, they thought me or my sister one would pick it up and love it. And I loved it. I didn't think that there was anything else that I was supposed to do with my life. And I battled things with my voice along the way, things to keep me quiet, and I was kind of lost without that. And through all of this, I figured out that still going to use your voice, maybe in a different capacity, but that's still your call. And that's important to know that no mistake that you've made, no past, nothing can remove that call on your life. You are not disqualified for making mistakes. Your failures are proof that you're still trying. They're lessons, they're life lessons that you take with you and then you pass on, to other people that need it. Because what you have is going to help save someone else.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the craziest way, being an alcoholic was a great thing. Being heartbroken was a great thing. Obesity, teen pregnancy, all of it combined made my entire life a story. And that's what I want to use my voice for. My calling is to encourage people and let them know that you can write your own story. You are in charge of that. You can get up from anything, you know. I think that, like I said, I think at some point we all meet our destiny. And maybe we can't change the beginning, but you can change the end. And having that mindset of, you know, I deserve this.
Sure.
And believing that you're worthy of
yes,
that.
You can.
And like I said, just a little belief at first is okay, because as you start to try to embody living in excellence, that belief in yourself starts to grow and your self-worth starts to grow and you build from there. And before you know it, you look back and you're like, I'm a totally different person. And I truly am. I am a 100% different person than I was. I'll use a 5-year time period, but I don't even know who that is anymore.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
And it gets better and brighter every day.
Ask if for those listening and would want to stay connected or get to learn more about you or maybe get advice from you, you know, just to make that connection. What would you prefer sending them? I think I got some information. Let me put it here. Which one do you prefer? I have your TikTok and your Facebook.
They can get me on Facebook Messenger right now.
Either or.
My website is semi-working. It's getting there, but it's becominghertribe.com. Working out some kinks, but there I'll have a lot of like journal prompts, printouts, meditation guides, and then even the breakdown of like, what is meditation? Why do we journal? All of those kind of things on there too. But you can check it out for now and read some of my blogs. But if you want to connect with me, my Facebook Messenger right now would be the best way to do that. I am working on getting my framework for sobriety, sacred sobriety. It's in the works of trying to get that out there and published. So I'll try to keep all that updated on my social sites, but I'm excited about that too. I think that a lot of people could benefit from that holistic approach. It's worked for me. It's special to me. It's my heart song. It's my soul in black and white.
Yes. Ooh, awesome. Well. Okay. Last thing you'd like to leave with listeners. What would that be?
I think it's, that it's a decision. It's that mindset that if your mind still believes that you're not worthy, you'll self-sabotage. But if you can tell yourself that it's not behavior change, that it starts with belief, and then you really connect with who you are. That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Oh no, honey, I understand. No, that's what we want. That's divine healing. That's divine healing. It shows up. You know it when you see it.
You do.
It touches you to the core.
I
The essence of who you are.
And I know I had a spiritual awakening. I have no doubt. And that quiet time with you and that higher power, whatever it if it's God, if it's the universe, if it's whatever it is. But that quiet connection time is so important. That's your compass. That's your navigation. That's how you're going to get to where you need to go. That's your, how do I get to my higher self? You know, I trust divine timing and intuition with everything that I am. I think that our lives are orchestrated. I think that we're given different paths that we can take, right? But one of them is that this is what you were designed to do. Right. Not that the other ones are bad, but this is why you were created. And that connection to spirit, God, universe, that starts to mark out that pathway for you and show you what it looks like. It illuminates your destiny. So that spiritual connection, that's going to get you where you need to go. That's going to give you the strength to have the mindset shift and then stand on that belief. You know, it'll be like, well, I feel this, so I know that I can muster up that belief to keep going. Yes. And I know I'm worthy of this because I feel it. You know, and yes. The heart stores the wounds. They say the body keeps the score, but your soul knows the way. You have to tap into that.
Ooh. Ooh, yes.
Just don't give up. One day at a time and sometimes 1 second at a time. But just breathe.
It's a must. It's it. Yeah. You've got to tap in. You've got to allow the core of who you are, your intuition. It'll guide you every time. Every time. It's your protector. It's your safeguard. It's your enlightenment. It's everything. It's everything.
It truly is. There is a natural flow to life. And when we're in the throes of addiction or, you know, we're bound in chains of something else, we're out of sync with that. We're not in that flow. And the flow doesn't look like I know all the answers. I have the right direction. I've got all this figured out. The flow looks like I don't have a clue. But I'm going to let go and I'm going to flow. And then if I trust and I'm connecting and I'm tuned in, I'm going to get those, for me, synchronicities and little downloads and knowings that I know what direction I'm supposed to be going. And that's, I allow myself to receive that. You have to be aligned, you know, in order to receive those messages. Yes. And when you do have enough faith to go after that. I'm doing that right now. I'm pursuing what I know that's meant for me. And how do I know that? I know that because I've tuned into that. I've tapped into that. And it's just been incredible. Like I said, I have peace like I've never had. And it's so funny that, you know, when you get in that flow state like that, like, what are you doing? You know, like, I don't know. I know what direction I'm supposed to be going in, and I've got some things figured out, but I don't know what the whole picture looks like, and that's okay. It'll be revealed to me as I go, just like the staircase. You take one at a time. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful journey. You know, it's, like I said, spirituality truly is like that bridge between your old self.
Healing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yes.
But I want anybody who needs anything just to reach out. You know, if you need resources, don't know where to go, need a word of advice, whatever it is, I'm always available.
Thank you. I'm going to say thank you for them. Until next time, God bless you, Candace.